Hi everybody, this is Mr. Manning, and this video is going to be related to financial institutions. And that sounds like an incredibly exciting topic, right? Financial institutions. It just sounds really amazing. Actually, even though it might not be the most exciting topic in the world, it's actually going to be a pretty important one to you because financial institutions are these places that um, basically they help us manage our money. And they're very important to everybody, but especially adults, because they need the services that they provide. And there are several financial institutions that you can use. In fact, we're going to talk about four of them today. The four that we're going to discuss are probably the four most common, and probably going to be the four that you will use at some point during your lifetime. Um, to go along with this discussion, I have a set of notes for you. They look like this. They're only one page long, so that's not too bad. And hopefully, as you watch this video, you can kind of fill them out as you go. Okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. So basically, what is a financial institution? Well, these are businesses that offer multiple services in banking and finance. So basically, they're going to offer a whole bunch of different services related to your money. And you've already talked, or you've already done a little bit with checking accounts. Hopefully, you've watched the video about checking accounts and you've learned how to record transactions and balance your checking account. And checking accounts is definitely one service that a financial institution offers. Some other things that you might use them for would be like loans, if you need to get a loan to buy a house or a car, maybe investments, which we're going to discuss later in this unit about ways that you can invest your money to help it grow so that you can have more money for retirement or to buy larger items. Maybe for safety and protection, so like maybe you have a safe deposit box or a savings account. There's just all sorts of different things that financial institutions offer. One thing to know about financial institutions before you get very far is they are actually insured by the federal government. And what this means is that if something were to happen to the money that you have in a financial institution, it's actually insured. And that insurance comes from the federal government. Depending on the type of financial institution, will depend on the type of insurance. The most common is called the FDIC, which stands for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And basically, what they do is they insure your money up to $250,000 per account. So imagine this. Let's say that you have $150,000 in a savings account and something happens to that savings account. There's a robbery or there's some sort of, like hacking or something like that. Well, you actually would get all of that money back because you were insured up to $250,000 per account. Now, most people would probably look at this and be like, well, gosh, $250,000 is a ton of money. That's going to be plenty for me. And for most people, it will be. But if you happen to have more than $250,000, it's actually suggested that you break it up into multiple accounts because if you do that, then that $250,000 will apply to each account and you'll be able to insure all of your money, not just $250,000 of it. All right, so there are four main financial institutions that we're going to talk about: commercial bank, savings and loan, credit union, and brokerage firm. And what I'd like to do is basically go through each one of these, talk a little bit about what they are, and then some of the services that they offer. So we're going to start with commercial bank because it is by far the most common. Commercial banks are the ones that you think of whenever you think of a bank. They're the ones that when you're driving around town, you see them on the side of the road. Some popular ones down here are like Bank of America, U.S. Bank, Commerce Bank, and so on. You see commercials for these banks on TV. And the reason they're the most popular is because they offer a very wide variety of services and products. And they're meant for like the normal everyday people. They offer services such as checking accounts and savings accounts, which most people have. They offer a safe deposit box, which is very important if you have valuables that you don't feel comfortable keeping at your house. They offer credit cards. We're going to talk about credit cards later in this class, but most credit cards are actually issued by a bank. and you get the money from that bank. It's basically like a loan. They offer these things called CDs, and I'm not talking about the music kind, even though, hey, who still uses a CD, right? Everybody just downloads their music. But the CD I'm talking about is a certificate of deposit. It's a way to invest your money. They do offer other investments, loans, and mortgages. So they are really they offer a wide variety of things for most normal everyday people, and they are definitely by far the most common financial institution. Okay, the second one that's maybe not quite as common is what's called a savings and loan, or an S&L for short. These financial institutions focus on, like their name says, they focus on ways to save your money and on giving out loans to people. They are also insured. So I mentioned earlier that commercial banks are insured by the FDIC. Savings and loan are insured by a thing called SAFE, or SAIF. It does basically the exact same thing as the FDIC, except for that it does it for savings and loans. These are not nearly as common or popular. In fact, I've got a couple of examples down here, and you probably have never heard of either one of these. In fact, I had never even heard of either one of these either. You don't really see commercials for them. You don't see them when you're driving around town. Some of the services that they offer, they actually do offer checking and savings accounts, but they're just not nearly as common. They offer CDs, or investment plans, retirement accounts. This is probably one of the biggest things that they do, is they do retirement accounts for people. That comes in the savings part. And then they do also offer loans, so mortgages, car loans, things like that. Okay, a credit union. Now, this one you might be a little bit more familiar with. In fact, maybe your parents are involved with a credit union. A credit union is very similar to a commercial bank. They offer a lot of the same services that a commercial bank does, except they have one big difference. A credit union is actually owned by their members, and they are nonprofit, which is huge. They are not out to make money. Commercial banks, they offer loans, but they charge people interest, and they make money for the services that they offer. Credit unions don't do that. They're not meant to make money. They're meant to be nonprofit things for the people that are members. Now, to become a member of a credit union, you usually have to meet some sort of qualification. Sometimes it might be the place that you work you can be a credit union member at. It might be an area that you live. It might be your particular occupation. Like, for instance, I'm a teacher, and there are teachers' credit unions where you have to be a teacher to be able to be involved in that credit union. So if your parents have any money at a credit union, or they're using any of a credit union services, they probably have some sort of qualification that they meet. Now, why does it matter that a credit union is nonprofit? It matters because at a credit union you can actually get better rates on loans, and you can actually get better interest on your investments. So overall, credit unions are usually better than a commercial bank, because the bank takes a little bit of money for themselves, where a credit union doesn't do that. Some of the services that a credit union offers, they're very similar to a commercial bank, except they have different names for them. So like for a checking account, they call theirs a share draft account. Savings is called just a share account. They do offer CDs and safe deposit boxes. And you can see over here on the right, most of these other services are exactly what a commercial bank offers. So for a summative, what I would want you guys to mainly know is that a credit union offers pretty much everything a bank does, a commercial bank, except for they offer it at a lower cost because they are nonprofit. Okay, and the fourth and very last one is called a brokerage firm. A brokerage firm, it really has one main focus, and that is for investing. In fact, I put investing in big, bold, red letters right here. They help people invest their money. They not only invest them for it, or invest the money for them, but they also offer advice. Some of the examples is Edward Jones, which you probably have seen commercials for them, or you know a little bit about them. Merrill Lynch is also a very popular one. There are several others as well. So these are companies that you probably do know a little bit about. You've heard their name, maybe even seen commercials for them. But unless if you are investing money for a particular purpose, you probably don't use their services. So here are some of the things that they offer. Like I said, they offer investments. We're going to talk a lot more about investments later in this unit. They offer to buy stocks, mutual funds, bonds. They do financial counseling. So if you know that you want to invest money, but you're not 100% sure how to do it or what would be the best option for you, you can go into one of these brokerage firms and a professional would help you out. They do real estate investments, so they help you purchase property or buildings, retirement plan accounts, just all sorts of investment options. Okay, so why do people use these? What is the big advantage of using a financial institution? Why don't people just go out into the backyard, put all their money in a jar, and bury it, right? The main reason, and actually there are four benefits of using a financial institution. The first one is convenience. Whenever you put your money into a financial institution, it should be fairly easy to access that money. So, like if you use a commercial bank, you should be able to get to your money by using an ATM or going to the drive-through window or by writing a check or using online services. There's just all sorts of ways that you can access your money. Cost savings. So there are some things in this world that you have to use the services of a commercial bank to pay for. And if you don't offer or if you don't use a financial institution, then you might end up having to purchase things like money orders or certified checks, and those cost money. Where if you have an account at a commercial bank, you can do these things for free. And speaking of free, when you get a savings account or a checking account, you should be able to get it for free. There might be some commercial banks that want to charge you a monthly fee, and you probably shouldn't accept that. There's really no reason to pay a monthly fee for a commercial bank. The services that they offer are available in a lot of different places, and a lot of them offer it for free. So whenever you're looking for a commercial bank, I would really recommend that you find somewhere that offers free checking, free savings, and so on. Safety. Okay, so these last two, safety and security, are probably the two biggest reasons people use banks. They want to feel like their money is safe and secure. They don't want people to be able to rob them or to steal from them. They don't want a fire to take all their money. So they put their money into banks to keep it safe. So I put safety up here, protection from fire, theft, and loss. Even if something were to happen to the bank itself, remember it will be insured by either the FDIC or the SAIF or the NCAU, which does credit unions. So even if something really bad does happen to that bank, you're still insured and you're going to get your money back. And then security. Once again, it's about the insurance thing. Okay, so my very last point for this video is, I mentioned it earlier, but whenever you are getting ready to choose a financial institution, there are a lot of options out there. Don't just choose the one because it is right next to your house or because it's the one that your parents use. I would really recommend that you maybe shop around a little bit, look at some of the services they offer, what are some of their rates. If you're going to use them to get a loan or to use investments, you want to see what kind of rates they have, and that will help you get the best deal for your money. Okay guys, thanks for listening to this video.